Interview.
Ifrikya FM listeners and followers, welcome to all of you in this exclusive interview. Today we're honored and have the pleasure to receive Francis Atwoli, President of the Organization of African Trade Union Unity. Hello, sir. How are you?
Fine, sister.
Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
So before we begin our interview, allow me, sir, to first of all introduce OUSA, which is a Pan-African organization dedicated to the promotion and protection of workers' rights across the African continent. Founded in 1973, OUSA aims to strengthen solidarity and unity among African unions to improve working conditions and social gains for workers. The organization plays a crucial role in defending trade union rights, promoting social dialogue, and developing strategies to respond to the challenges of the ever-changing labor market. Through its initiatives and regular congresses, OUSA actively contributes to the integration and socio-economic development of Africa. So, you are currently visiting Algeria. Can you explain to us the reasons of this visit in this month of July that represents the month of independence in Algeria? What does it mean to you?
It is very important for us to always remember Algeria, because Algeria took a center stage during those days of its founding father, President Ben Bella. And Africa would have not been what it is today if Algeria and Algerian people didn't immensely contribute for Africa's freedom. And that is why we value in labor movement on the continent of Africa, we value Algeria as part and parcel of Africa's guidance, country that guided Africa for freedom. And we cannot have freedom which is not coupled with the economic development. And this is where we are. And we have, that's what OUSA stands for. OUSA stands for being free and independent. International labor movement, Pan-Africanist labor movement, is not allied to any other trade union in the world. It's free and independent, but it can work with all trade union tendencies in the world because of its independence. But the most important work that OUSA does, and which the Algerian government has supported for a long time, is to position ourselves to all both local and international labor markets and labor politics. We prepare ourselves on the continent even before we go to the International Labour Organization in Geneva for either. And we also reposition ourselves on in an area of making sure that we prepare for the items of agenda at the International Labour Organization. And Algeria has played a very crucial role by hosting African trade unions in this country to prepare themselves for any international political, social, and economic onslaught. This is Algeria has been number one. Why I have come here, one, is also to come and thank the Minister for Labor, to thank the government of Algeria, to thank His Excellency the President through the Minister of Labor for having hosted us here last year in November during our Congress of OUSA in this country, where we had our elections, where we renewed our leadership, and so on. And we were in a hurry. I left. We didn't have extensive discussion with the Minister for Labor, and we didn't have an opportunity to ask him to go and thank His Excellency the President of the Republic of Algeria for having hosted more than 500 delegates who were here in November last year. This is a country we cannot forget, and we will always be coming here. When I was elected firstly as the president of the Organization of the Trade Union Unity, I was here in Algeria, and the government of Algeria has awarded me with the highest medal of honor, known as National Order of Merit of Algeria. So this is a country that recognizes labor movement in Africa. This is the government that has recognized my role and my active role in both local and the international labor movement. And that is why we are here to strengthen our relationship with the Algerian government and Algerian people, Algerian workers.
Indeed, sir. So let me ask you another question. So during the 12th Congress of your organization, organized last November here in Algiers, a call was launched for the development of a new strategy for the promotion of the African trade union movement. Can you tell us more about this?
You know, now the world has changed.
Yeah.
The normal world we used to know, where people used to get employment, and now it is no longer there. The membership we used to tap from industries, factories, and so on is fading away. So that is why we were here to look for the new strategies in labor movement, because now the work is moving from the really practical work that we used to see to digital or e-commerce or platform economies or gig economies as it is known, or smart economy. And in the smart economy, you will not be able to see a lot of people in factories and recruit them. People will be working from their houses and so on, and people must also be fast in information technology, and people will have different applications on their smart equipment. This is smart equipment, is smart telephone, smart gadgets, smart iPad, smart telephone, smart TV, smart iPad.
Smart tools.
This is where the world is going. So we had a very extensive discussion on the same last year and how we should be able to support the International Labour Organization on standard setting for the people who are involved in platform economy. Platform economy is where people are using smart equipment. This modern smart is different from the smart we used to be taught when we were being oriented on strategic planning courses, because that smart stood for specific, measurable, appropriate, relevant, and time-bound. That one has been overtaken by events. And we used to use something called SWOT. SWOT was to assess your strengths and opportunities and weaknesses, opportunities, and also threats in whatever you are doing. That we have moved from there now, because you will be working on your own or smart equipment like your telephone, iPad, or computer, smart computer, where you don't need people, where you don't need messengers, where you don't need drivers, where you don't need everybody. And these people, we must set up monitoring system through what we call standard setting. And that is why we were here thinking, if we set out standards, government would be able to collect revenue, trade unions will be able to organize people in the gig economy, and also those in informal sector or formalizing informal sector, formal economy. That is what it meant when we were here last time.
And again, talking about the last Congress, you adopted a series of resolutions. Among these changes, we can call or we can mention international solidarity, young people. In addition to Palestine and Western Sahara, what does the Sahrawi cause represent for your organization?
We have done too much, particularly the Secretary General, Mr. Rizk Massoud, who is based in Accra, Ghana, where our headquarters is, has done a commendable job by making sure that he's surrounded by young economists, young planners, young information technology experts, and also modernizing approach in an area of representation by using the affiliates that have capable members of staff. They have economists, they have lawyers, they have everybody to represent us so as to effectively articulate issues that are concerning African workers on this continent. And we have done so far very well, more than even the developed world in Europe. And I can assure you we have repositioned in unity and in everything. And I will tell you what, recently we had our elections on ILO governing body in Geneva. But because of the good foresight organization by our Secretary General, Rizk Massoud, in Ghana, who is based in Ghana, is an Algerian based in Ghana, I was selected amongst those people out of 130 accredited delegates who qualified to vote for 187 countries that attended the International Labour Organization. I was number one as a titular, and the deputy too, or deputies, the Ghanaian colleague, Dr. Anton Ba, was also number one. And we We had to beat Europe, we had to beat Americans, we had to beat all those people you hear, France and everybody. And some were down number 9, number 10. But Africa took lead number one. So you can see, because of repositioning ourselves on the continent, working in unison or in unity, we have developed far much deeper mechanism in trade union movement understanding and in industrial relations practice, which is the mother of labor markets all over the world.
Mm-hmm. The barbaric Zionist aggression against the Gaza Strip and the genocide it engendered has been widely denounced by workers across the world, including in Africa. Mr. Atwoli, what is the role of African workers and unions in supporting the Palestinian cause?
Even when we were here, when we were here in November, that was the most number one topic, to associate ourselves and show solidarity with our brothers in the Palestinian world. And we condemned what is happening in Gaza. We stood against it because as far as the basic human rights requirement are, that is against humanity. That massacre is unacceptable in a modern world, and we are surprised that the international community is just watching when young babies are being killed. And sometimes even in Geneva, at the International Labour Organization governing body, during my speech, I wondered whether it is indeed really that the mother of Holy Bible, Holy Quran, which emerged from the Middle East, and God, who gave us opportunity to pray through those two documents in the world, is seeing what is happening in Gaza, where young men and women, children, women who are defenseless, are being bombed, killed on daily basis. Is God really watching what is happening? Is Allah watching what is happening? And if the Allah is there, who is a creator of earth and heaven, and the people and everything in the world is seeing that, what action is also other? Because we have no strength. We can't live as Africans or as a particular country to go and fight against Israel or against anybody and bring peace. But where we have reached, we leave it to God, because the most powerful countries like US and the rest, they are supporting Israel on genocide. And this is it makes us get left with wondering what advice. Mm-hmm. All those countries have been taking the leading role as an advisors of our governments on the continent of Africa. But then what they are doing is contrary to free democracy that is preached in the world. Free and independent democracy that is preached in the world. Mm-hmm. And also against humanity. Massacre of any kind or genocide of any kind is something that God would not allow that to happen. And if God is watching that, helplessly children dying, women dying, who are defenseless, who cannot fight, I think that is immoral, unacceptable, and we at OWATU, we are against it openly. We don't hide our position because we would like to live in the world of peace, in the world of freedom of choice, in the world where people can be able to wake up in the morning, go and work and come back in their houses, and in the world where everybody can bring food on the table. Mm-hmm.
And this marks the end of this exclusive interview. Thank you very much, Mr. Atwoli, for this enlightening interview. We wish you excellent continuation in your mission at the head of OUSA and your efforts in favor of African workers. So we come to the end of this exclusive interview prepared by me, Samar Hamadi, and Ali Kifsi. Thank you for following us. See you soon.